Hello, my name is Joe Termes, and I am with Idaho 5051. You have probably seen me on such platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. You have decided to run for office, and the next thing you need to do is figure out your social media strategy. Fortunately, you got me to walk you through exactly what you need to do. So, the first step is we actually need to prepare our social media before we actually start posting. So, what you need to do is you need to go through all these various platforms. You need to get your branding together and you need to make sure all your bios for those platforms are completely filled out because when people see your posts, you won't want them to be able to click on your face and have a very quick introduction as to who you are and what you stand for. So get your branding together first and foremost. Secondly, you're going to want to get your email together. Email is the gold standard. It's the thing that you can use to hedge your bets when the algorithm is not playing in your favor. Because you will see as you post that Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, they're going to shift under your feet while you're trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. While you're doing that, you're going to be collecting email addresses as much as you possibly can so that you can get that information out to your volunteers, your constituents, your potential voters without having to rely on the algorithm. Thirdly, you need to get your web page in order. Now, the big mistake I see on most candidate web pages is when someone goes to research you and see what you stand for, it's rarely very clear what it is you actually believe in. There's too much political speak, the too much policy talk. Things are too vague to appeal to too wide of an audience. So I need you to be very succinct and very clear in your message on your webpage so that when someone Googles you, they know exactly what you believe in the 30 seconds that they're invested to actually do that research. You're going to want good presentation on your webpage. You want high quality photos. Avoid stock photography. Get some good pictures of yourself. We've got photographers on our team that could potentially help you out. Um, and most importantly, these photos need to tell a story about how you are an Idahoan just like they are, and that you are a real human person just like they are, and not so much a politician. The next thing you're going to need to set up is your link tree. Now, there's a few other services that do something very similar, but in a nutshell, a link tree is a very short link that acts as a directory to all of the information. You can point it to your web page, you can point it to your email address, your contact information, and all of your social media accounts. So when you're out and about, you can actually print out a QR code, show it to people, and then they will be immediately connected to every piece of information that they could ever want about you. So let's talk about social media and the profiles and the strategies involved with actually having a competent social media campaign. First of all, is the branding. It's so important. Make sure you understand how the branding works on each of the platforms, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or Blue Sky. Secondly, most people, when they think about doing social media for, whether it's their business or their campaign or their band, they think of it as a chore. But I want you to think of it as an expression of art. This is a chance for you to figure out how you can most effectively craft your message to the people that need to hear it. So once you internalize the idea that this is actually part of the job as almost a performance art, then your chances of success will be much higher than if you treat it as a chore that you feel like you just have to do. Now, let's talk about some of the different platforms that we have here. We have a couple of text-based platforms that includes forms. The first one we got is our short form text. This includes Threads and Blue Sky. If you're not familiar with them, these are the platforms that are essentially competitors to Twitter. We don't do Twitter because Twitter is owned by fascists, but the concept is essentially the same. These are short form, limited to 300 or 500 characters, depending on the platform. And so you have to get to your point very quickly. The other option is you can post an image that has text on it that is, grabs the attention, may give you an opportunity to put more text, but generally you want to stay as succinct as possible for these platforms. The next one I want to talk about is TikTok. TikTok is short form video content. And with TikTok, you won't, no one really cares about the text. I don't even bother with descriptions on my videos half the time. But TikTok is very much about how can you grab the audience's attention as quick as possible. So you want to keep your videos typically under 60 seconds, and you want to grab their attention within the first 6. Now, once you get a little bit of a following on TikTok, then that familiarity and comfort with your viewer base does buy you some grace to start posting longer content. But you want to make sure you're getting good engagement before you get there. Um, so short form video, YouTube Shorts falls under this category as well as Facebook Reels and Instagram Reels. So let's talk about Facebook and Instagram. Facebook, if you're not doing the Reels, you can do text or photos. And generally, a best strategy that works for Facebook specifically is to have a decent text post with an attention grabbing picture. If you do text on its own, generally people will scroll past it. If you do a colorful background with short text, you can grab some attention and then put longer text in the comments. Do not put direct links in the main body of your Facebook post. Put that direct link in the comments instead. On Instagram, same kind of story. Instagram is a very visual-based platform that primarily serves photos more than videos, but Instagram Reels are also very popular. So let's talk about some of the strategies that we can actually use in our content and ourselves. The number one most important thing that we can do is be consistent. The thing that trips up most folks when it comes to having an effective social media presence is they're more concerned about having perfect production quality that prevents them from posting often enough. Ideally, you want to be posting at least 3 times a week, especially on the short form video platforms. And it doesn't have to be fancy. I wouldn't worry too much about flashy graphics or filters or anything like that. One of the best things that you can do to start, especially to build familiarity with your own face, is just the simple talking head video. Whip out your phone, turn the camera on selfie mode, and talk to the camera for 60 seconds about an important issue that you think people care about. And now, one of the great tools of this, and you see this with really effective campaigns like what Mom Donnie has done, is when he's talking to that camera, he's talking like a real human person. He has figured out how to connect with everyday folks and speaking to issues that they care about. So this is what I want all of you to do as well. I would even, anything that sounds like jargon, I would avoid. Anything that sounds like really in-depth policy, I would avoid. Don't provide any caveats. Be plain and true for the issues and the values you stand for. And that will draw people to you for being, that simplistic truth. And so the key of that consistency is building familiarity. Now you'll see as you get started with this, you may look at your view counts and you say that they're not going up that much. But you keep posting, that 3 times a week, even every day if you can. What you're going to start seeing is people in real life are going to start connecting your face to their experience with you in real life. They're going to start coming up to you and they will start talking to you about the issues that they care about. So familiarity is not only, about getting that social media reach, it's getting that in real life reach. And if people know what your name is and they know what your face looks like, that is a guaranteed way to build a rapport with them that they feel connected to you with. Now, another strategy you can do is you can start mixing up the styles. Once you get your feet under you and you've got the talking head thing figured out, mix the styles up a little bit. One of the things I like to do is I'll do the talking head videos a few times a week, but if we have an event like a protest or a food drive or a letter writing campaign, I'll just do a quick like 10-second video just doing a panorama of that event. And part of that is to show, our involvement with the community, but also mixes things up, keeps things fresh. You can put some music on those, and that tends to help draw some attention. Also helps with your view count. Um, Another important factor, especially with the short form video content, and I would say the short form text content too, is quick turnaround. If something newsworthy happens, whether it's the invasion of Iran, what happened in Minnesota with DHS, you want to be hitting that news really quick with a response. But ideally, as it's as close to as when it's happening as you possibly can. If you wait 2 days, especially in this environment, you're going to miss out. So something big happens, react to it. Show the people that you are flexible, adaptable, and responsive to the reality on the ground. Yep. So once you have your feed underneath you and you've got these different kinds of styles of videos and short form text posts figured out, start watching your analytics. This is important because you're going to find that certain types of videos resonate with people better than others. And by looking at the commonalities of the videos that have the biggest reach, you're going to be able to learn from that and start taking those tactics and putting in your future content more effectively. I notice when I talk about certain things in my content that the reach automatically blows up. So and part of it too is the analytics for Facebook is going to be reacting to different things than the analytics for TikTok or Instagram. So part of that is understanding how the different audiences to these different platforms react differently, so that you can start adapting those techniques for the different audiences that are on those platforms. Now, another tactic that we like to do is the collaborate function. On TikTok, if I am talking about a particular candidate, I will use this little @ symbol, and I will find their account on TikTok. Sometimes it's friendly people that I'm talking about that I will tag them in the description, but sometimes, not always, I'll tag the governor if I'm talking about the governor, because I want not only the governor to see what I'm talking about, I also want people that are following the governor to see what I'm talking about as well. Now on Instagram, this is function is known as the invite collaborators. And what happens on that platform, on Instagram, the collaborate function operates a little differently. It is when you are creating your post, you click on invite collaborators and you can find their account, and you can add them. And if they accept that invitation, then the post that not only shows up on your feed, it will also show up on their feed too. So if you have an allied group that you're talking about, if you invite them as a collaborator and they accept, your reach automatically expands to include both audiences. And this can be really, really powerful, especially as you get more of a name for yourself. It's a great way to introduce yourself to new audiences and combine those audiences together. Now, here's another really important one. If you're at an event that is especially newsworthy, like, for example, No Kings, post during that event. Don't wait until after. Don't just record video and then decide you're going to post the next day. Post as it's happening. First of all, the algorithm loves when all of this content is coming out at the same time. The energy is really hot, people are really excited, and they're engaging with that content immediately. But those kind of events oftentimes have an expiration date in terms of excitement. So if you see something that is interesting, even if it's a couple seconds long, record it, immediately post it, get it online, and you'll guaranteed will get lots of views on that content, which will then draw people to your profile. And then if you have your profile set up like we talked about, gives them that introduction to you as a person and as a candidate, and then also builds that really important aspect of familiarity that when they start seeing your other content hit their feed, that then they will start to get to know you. So in a nutshell, this is a very quick rundown of how to get started on a social media campaign and how to be effective and reach as many people as you can, as quickly as you can, but most importantly, help them understand what you stand for and what you believe in a very quick cost-efficient manner. Thank you very much.